Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Meeple Marathon and our playthrough of the Big Book of Madness with the Fifth Element expansion. If you want to know how we set everything up and a general overview of the rules, or if you want to know what modules of the expansion were added in, we added both of them in. But if you wanted to see those without any spoilers, you can go ahead and check out my setup video, which I will post a link to right up there. We will go ahead and get started. The first thing we have to do here is reveal our first monster. So this is from the base game, but you can see upcoming in the next round, we're actually going to have one of the new monsters because they have the dark matter as one of their elements. So I'm playing on easy because from what I understand, the dark matter element and the phobia element kind of just add slightly more difficulty to the game. So I am playing on easy essentially, which means these first two rounds I don't add in any extra elemental curses. So we are going to deal with a green, we are going to deal with a fire, and a water. All right, and so let's get started with our first turn. Okay, so here we have our starting hand, and you can see that it is a lot of dark elementals. We are halfway to defeating that green elemental curse over there. Unfortunately, we are pretty short, and we also only have one fire here. We could spend 2 dark elementals to give us 1 white in order to do telepathy, which again is just going to allow us to have another player take an action. But unfortunately, looking at our other player, they don't have any green cards either, nor do they have any fire. They didn't have any fire at all. So this round could be quite a rough round here. Looking ahead, it looks like my partner will have no problems dispatching the blue. And so what we really need to do is figure out how to, get the green, exchange 1 card. So looking at the curse book here, this one on the left should allow us, will allow us to exchange 1 card with 1 other player. So I'm assuming that means I would have to give them 1. I don't want to give them much though. So let's see here. Not really sure what we want to do. I want to be able to get my greens into support so that I can use them later. I don't really want to use 1 to draw a card right now, so let's go ahead and spend 2 madness in order to do ice here, and that will allow us to put 1 of our greens up here in our first support slot, and we have 3 total. Alright, so at this point we are left with these 3 cards, which I can't do much with the single 1 dark matter card except exchange it with a friend over here, or my other magician. So I think I'm just going to hold on to them. I don't want to really spend these 2 just to get another dark matter right now. So I am just going to pause. We're going to have to suffer the consequences of the curse. And I'm going to get 3 new cards, which you can see there are all blue cards. But I've already spent my blue spell for the round. So moving over here to the curse, essentially we will come over here, we'll put our book here, and it will state that each player receives 1 madness in their discard pile. So the active player now has become my green magician here, so they're actually going to get this phobia, which has the same backside, so we don't know exactly when it's coming up. And it says you cannot take the cure action except for this card. So that's going to go down in our discard pile, and then our other magician will get a standard madness card in her discard pile. Okay, so coming back over here to this magician, we have just about what we need in order to defeat the water elemental curse that's up on the board, and we're just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3 here, but then I'm also going to spend these 2 curse cards here in order to essentially pay for the wild. So this is now taken off the board. It's 1 less curse that we'll have to deal with here in a minute. And then we get to choose an element of our choosing. So knowing that there was no fire in our player's hand to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and take this 2 dark element, and it goes into our discard pile. Okay, so we're going to advance the round marker here, and this says, now we would have had to deal with the blue, but that one has, you know, we've removed that from the game. So now we only have to deal with this one, which says each player destroys the top card of their deck. Unfortunately, let's see what we lost here. Okay, so the green player loses one of their green cards. We'll stick that over here. And the blue player is going to lose one of their blue cards. So that's okay, because those are their elemental colors, and they actually had more of those cards than any other to begin the game with. All right, so over here we have so we still need to get rid of the fire and the earth elementals within this round, and then 2 others, in order to defeat this monster and not suffer the penalty, which for this monster is all players must destroy 1 dark matter card or receive 1 madness. So we're going to try and not let that happen. And now what we have at this point is a whole lot of cards that we can put into support. So that's what we're going to do. I am going to play, oh, sorry, this should have refreshed because we're about to use it. You refresh them at the beginning of your turn. Because I'm going to play this card right here. It's going to go into my discard pile. And since I overspent, I'm actually going to get to put these 2 cards, and this is going to fill up my support slots. All right, so those are there ready for myself to use on later turn, or for the other magician to use. Now at this point, I can't do much with this dark matter card. I can, however, either use these to upgrade to a level 2 blue element, or I can purchase the top spell that's the blue spell, which is, again, Torrential Rain. 1 player shuffles their discard pile and support into their deck. Now, this is not necessarily what I would consider to be a big time spell. This doesn't seem very exciting to me, but unfortunately I need to purchase this in order to see what's underneath it. But for right now, I think building up my deck is more important, so I'm actually going to discard these 2 here in order to add another level 2 to my discard pile. Okay, so as we advance along our round track here, you can see that we've entered an area that there never was a curse to begin with, and that's how they kind of ramp up the difficulty as the course of the game goes on. We essentially have 2 free turns now where we can prepare. We can either prepare for the upcoming elemental up here, or we can try and get rid of these 2 curses. If we do, we still get the victory condition on the monster on this right side of the page. If we fail to get rid of the green and the fire before the end of turn 5 here, so the end of our next turn, we will suffer the defeat condition. So at this point, we should consider, am I going to be able to take care of both of these in 2 rounds? If not, if it doesn't seem possible, then I should probably just suffer my fate. I will just deal with the defeat of this monster, but I will go ahead and prepare myself to make sure I'm fully prepared, which you can see that the first element that I'm going to have to deal with is green. So do I waste all of my green elemental cards now and getting rid of this element, or do I store them all up and prepare to take care of that element right off the bat? So again, this is the push and pull and the thought that has to go into the game. But for right now, I've got 2 turns to figure that out. Okay, so one mistake that I want to correct real fast is that when I drew this phobia card here, I should have placed it directly into my support. These don't ever go into your discard pile. I believe they go directly into support. So I'm pretty sure I'm reading that rule correctly, but for right now we're going to put that there. So here is our hand for this player. Now again, we have 2 options here. I can either I could take care of the green elemental all by myself curse right now, but the problem is that I don't have any fire, anything I can add to the support pool, and my partner here has 1 in support, and she actually does have 1 in her hand now after she's drawn up. So but that still is only 2. And so I don't think that I am going to be able to get there. Looking at my discard pile, maybe. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to go for it. So let's see if we can make it happen. Alright, so by myself, I'm just going to play these 4 cards here, and that is going to get rid of this curse here. If nothing else, this is getting me a level 2 card to add to my pile here. So seeing what's upcoming, it is more fire, so I want to be prepared for that. So I'm going to go ahead and take another level 2 fire card, add that to my discard pile. Alright, now at this point I can alright, yeah, don't have any whites, don't have any blues. I can put my white up in support. So maybe I'll do that. If I put a white up in support, then my partner can use it to actually do her telepathy action the next time around. So let's go ahead and spend this. We will tap ice over here, and we will put our 1 white card up in support. If I had 1 other white card, I technically could have used these 2 to cure this, but for right now, it's not a super nuisance, so we are just going to leave it there. Okay, so I have been over my options here, and in our 5th and final turn, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to do it. I was hoping that I would draw at least 1 fire element as I reshuffled my other magician's deck and redrew up to 6 cards, but unfortunately I didn't, even though there's 2 2s in a pretty small deck. So what I'm going to do now at this point is, looking ahead at my partner, they can actually take care of the green elemental right off the bat, just with what they have in their hand right now. So I am going to just do some housekeeping here and prepare. So what I'm going to do here is spend these 2 out of my support to purchase stone skin here. Now I'm allowed to have 6 total spells. So, I mean 5 total spells. So for right now I don't have to discard a spell. I just get to add that 1, and I have 2 green spells along with everything else. Now, knowing that fire is upcoming on the next monster, I'm going to leave that there. I am going to go ahead and spend 1 dark elemental and make use of the dark book, a dark curse, and it says I can exchange 1 card with 1 other player. So I'm actually going to... Wait, is this what I wanted to do? Maybe not. No, hold on, come back. That's not what I wanted to do. I am going to take these spend ice, and I'm going to overpay. That's what I was going to do. So I can put these two up here. All right, then I'm going to spend these two because they're different, and I'm going to add this, and to my knowledge this goes directly into my hand. So now at this point I have kind of prepared myself to be able to take on the dark elemental curse that is upcoming. Now we still don't have a lot of answers for the fire elemental curse, but we shall see how that works out. So I'm going to go ahead and end my turn there, and this will end the round. Okay, so as this round comes to an end, we make it back here to the refresh symbol, and you can see that we still have one fire symbol curse on the board. So we're going to go ahead and just take this off and add it to the bottom of the stack. And now at this point, instead of being able to cure one phobia and reorder the remaining phobias as you wish among all players' support pools, we have to deal with the loss condition. So this says all players must destroy one dark matter card or receive one madness card. Now, looking at what I've got right here, this phobia would cover up, you know, first of all, it would eliminate the green player, and it's going to cover up my it'll have to cover up one of my elemental cards for my blue player, but I don't want to necessarily kill all of my elementals, so I'm going to go ahead and take this one. You can refresh only one spell during the concentration phase, so I'm going to have to cure that here at some point. And then for my green player, I'm just going to go ahead and they only started with 2, so this does kind of hurt, but I will just simply destroy that single dark matter card there. So now at this point it doesn't matter, I'm still advancing in the game. So preparing for the next round, we will flip this over and we will see we have a nice beefy monster there. As he arrives, it says the active player. Now technically at this point I should have advanced here. So now the active player has shifted from my blue magician to my green magician. It says the active player discards 2 cards. Now I'm reading that as not random cards, so I know that I need these to take care of the elemental, and I could probably use these to purchase dark matter. So what do we want? I've got one of these in support though, so we're going to discard these 2 cards, so we're down to 4. And then we're going to add in some curses here. So each player receives 1 madness in their discard pile. This one is all players destroy 1 value X element and gain X value element cards of the same type to their discard pile. Okay, so that seems like it actually is a good thing, not a bad thing. So, just reading over that, sorry. And then the last one is a fire. This says each player discards 1 earth card. So, there we have it. And now we are getting ready to move into round number 2. So we'll move this marker down. We still don't add in any multicolored elementals yet. And we are going to be starting with the green player. For now, I'm going to stop the video here, just so these don't get too long, and we'll just do 1 round per video, unless they start moving quicker, then maybe we'll fit 2 in. But for now, this is going to be the end of the video. Please join me next time as we move into round 2 of the Big Book of Madness with the 5th Element expansion.